How do you build a wedding chapel in The Sims 4? Well, sit back and let me show you. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. You're watching Just a Mom That Sims. I'm KT, and I'm here today for a wedding chapel build. This is for my Sims 4 generations story. So yes, again, this is for my legacy family. I decided to build a wedding chapel, and I'm going to give my disclaimer right now to please forgive any any snorts, any coughs, because I do not edit my voiceovers when I do speed builds or cast builds. And also, I hope you love my Southern United States drawl. So we are here today, and I decided to build this chapel for my legacy family. I am in generation 3, and my sim Carmen has been through a lot, and so I felt like she deserved a real wedding story, and we are doing all of the events in the My Wedding Stories pack for her. Now, this is interesting because I've never done them all for one sim. I've done all the events, but not all for one sim. And that's probably because I've said before in real life, I'm not big on weddings. I believe in marriage, but the wedding part I could skip. So it's kind of hard for me to navigate through this, but I did want to build like a kind of traditional chapel, whatever that may mean, kind of like an old school. I'm putting stucco on the outside. So as we go through this build, I'll talk about the build a little bit. I'll talk about the generations family a little bit. I'll also do some rambling. So yes, Gen 3 is actually a set of triplets, and it was 2 girls and 1 boy, Carmen, Liliana, and Leland. Now, Leland is the oldest, Carmen is the middle child, and Liliana is the youngest of the triplets. They come from a big family because they have a younger sister and then they have a younger brother who they love dearly. He was actually adopted, and their parents, it's just a well rounded home. But the youngest triplet, Liliana, was spoiled from infancy. She just was. She demanded the most attention of all of the triplets. And as she got older, she started to become a little bit jealous of her sister, Carmen. Carmen just had always been more independent than she realized. She was never scared to make her own way. Now, I'm putting this little piece at the top to be the chapel, but every time I put a piece of roofing on, it changes the color of this chapel topper. I'm calling it that. Please don't laugh, or you can because I'm laughing. But anyway, I'm trying to get the color to be stable, and I'm just gonna put like a flooring, a flat roof around that chapel piece, because I don't want to fool with roofing in there. I also struggle a lot with windows. Now you can turn on auto windows, but I usually don't like the placement. Sometimes I'll do it and just remove the windows that are extra, because it's really gonna go around and put them equally around. It might be 100 windows, but it's a cool feature in the game. Auto windows is a good tool to use, especially if you struggle like me. But anyway, back to the story. So Liliana took Carmen's boyfriend. It wasn't her boyfriend, it was a boy she liked, her first kiss. Liliana then I guess stole him in high school, but they mended their rift. Carmen blamed the young man, and they moved in together as adults, as roommates in the duplex they were leasing. Now, Carmen had a new boyfriend by now. She's an adult, Davion, and he was nice enough. They met at GeekCon because Carmen was a real introvert, but they both had gaming in common. However, Carmen had decided to go into the political track because she just saw things in her community that she wanted to make a difference in. And so she really was struggling against her introvertedness to become a good politician. She hesitated to let Davion meet her family, and really because meeting her family meant also meeting her triplet sister Liliana. Well, it turns out she was right, because Liliana met him and she decided that he was fine right away. She actually saw him before he was introduced, and then once he was introduced, instead of saying, oh no, he's off limits, she decided to go after him. He initially rebuffed her, but He then over time he wore down, and that's because although Davion was fine, he was fine, and he was smart because I believe he's in the astronaut career. He had some low self-esteem, and deep down he did not feel like he was worthy of a sim as good as Carmen. So he fell right into Liliana, and he knew better. Liliana knew better, but they started messing around, and soon enough, you guessed it, Liliana started feeling sick, and yes, she was pregnant by her sister's man. So yeah, check out my Gen 3 series. Now, Liliana hated children. This is what I have not mentioned. She hated them. She wanted to be mean to toddlers. She didn't want kids. And so when she had the baby, she just kind of ignored the baby. So Carmen just stepped in because she had hardened her heart. She had broken up with Davion, and she was saying, this baby is not her problem. And it really wasn't. But in the end, that was her niece. And she didn't want to see a baby, an innocent baby, starve or get taken. So she started taking care of her, feeding her, just loving little Mila. That was her niece's name. And then one day, Carmen went to work as a politician. She went out to do a speech. When she came home, little Mila was home alone and Liliana was gone. She had packed her suitcases and left. Now, how could this get any worse for Carmen? Well, Liliana also took most of the simoleons of the household. They had a nice amount, and she took almost all of it. She left Carmen a couple thousand simoleons, and she didn't even buy anything for the baby. So Carmen had to use those funds and buy the baby a crib and toys and just everything you need to take care of her. So over time, Carmen just took care of the baby and went on about her life, hurt, but attempting to heal, but having a hard time healing because she's taking care of her sister and her ex-boyfriend's baby. And so eventually she had to take Milo to the doctor. Milo got sick, and so what she did was ended up going on and making it official and adopting her. So now what I'm doing in this bill, because I've been in the storytelling for a long time, I decided that I don't want the traditional like walkway where you walk down the aisle. I want to put the spot where you get married on a platform in the center of the room. And I don't know, this just kind of popped into my mind. I had already put the arch at the end, as you can see, and I was thinking about doing a platform to raise it. I'm also going to put some showers in here because the Sims tend to wet themselves and everything else in the game. So in case somebody needs to really clean up, I'm actually just going to take one out because it doesn't fit the best because I put one door in this little alcove that I think I might change later. But anyway, we got one shower, two bathrooms. Also, I'm going to put some what do you call it? The owls. I'm gonna put some owls. I'm gonna put one on each side, even though that's taking up more space than I like. But I like that. I like the idea of the groom coming down one side, the bride down the other. It'd be nice if it was a door leading into each side, but that's just a little bit too much. I'm putting this sofa looking seat here because in my mind I'm thinking like the parents of the bride and groom, or bride or groom, could sit there. Now we know this is The Sims and this is the My Wedding Stories pack. It barely works. So whoever will sit there will sit there. I can use the steady seat mod to make them sit there. I'm not using any CC in this build, by the way. I will upload it to the gallery, and I will try to remember to do it this time because I say it and then I forget. But I'm gonna go back at some point when I get some breathing room and upload any venue that I have into the gallery. Also, if you don't see my bills on the gallery, check the CC box and then my bills will pop up, because a lot of times I may put one painting or one picture or something from CC and it marks the whole thing. So most of them are still really good to download, even with the CC in the bill, because I try not to use it excessively. Now later after I upload, I'll go back and put more if I need to. I'm trying to adjust these tables, but I'm really liking the layout. I'm really loving this center arch. I'm hoping it's going to be functional, but we'll see. And I'm thinking now I'm going to have to move this bathroom to have room for the buffet table, because I thought about putting like a mini kitchen, but if the Sims are here for the wedding, I don't want them wasting time cooking. They can just put the food on the buffet and go from there. But anyway, Carmen just deserves the best because she did go ahead and adopt her niece, Mila. Mila loves her. She's a toddler now, and she's been taking care of her all this time. Now, Carmen is still close with her whole family except for Liliana, and she actually still feels affection and love for Liliana. But if she's near her, she just feels bitter and broken, and she has bust for like the loss of a friend, like feeling like death because she lost a friend. So she is getting some intense mood buffs, and her sister has been popping up everywhere she goes because they are triplets. She knows her sister Liliana does, so she pops up when Carmen's working out. She's at the gym, and sometimes her and Davion pop up together, even though we thought they weren't together anymore. But they come and sometimes they make little comments, sometimes they laugh at her, and she'll just walk away because it hurts her because that's her sister. But she has cut out ties. She even showed up at the house one day, but Carmen decided no, she's not going to let her anywhere near Mila because she doesn't want her to hurt her. And especially until Mila's old enough to understand more. Carmen worries about like what she will tell her and how much she will tell her. But her family has been very supportive. I'm trying to find centerpieces that work, and I'm hoping there's enough chairs on the side for the food. And because I put the big horse ranch dance floor down over there because I want them to be able to have as many Sims as possible out dancing. I'm trying to put some more plants down because it's suggested on the suggestion list for the venue. And also because I'm going with this white and green theme, I just think it fits perfectly to add more green plants in. But this family is a loving family. Liliana is just a black sheep right now, but the rest of the family, they even threw her a surprise baby shower, Carmen, after she adopted Mila, because they wanted her to know they loved her, and that even though her parents love her sister Liliana, they do not support what she's done. Nobody invites her to the family functions anymore, but a couple times she showed up catering events, which is odd because Liliana didn't cook when she left. Well, she didn't cook because she was also a lazy Sim. She didn't clean up after herself, and Carmen was doing all of that for her. So as a result, Carmen has decided not to be a pushover ever again, to always set firm boundaries. And at her brother Leland's wedding, she met his best friend, one of his best friends, Kaden. And her and Kaden ended up building a friendship because she found out that he is her next door neighbor in the duplex. So they just started off having neighborly chats. They were just hanging out as friends, and then he asked her on a date. Though Carmen was reluctant, she went out with him. She sought out family support. She did some therapy, and they are doing well now. But sometimes she has had some jealousy streaks, but at this point, they have talked over their fears, and they've done that enough where he understood. Caden is a very sweet guy. He just lost the last member of his family that he was close with. And as we go into this My Wedding Story, we're going to dive into Caden. So as we go up the platform steps, I want you to know that I appreciate you hanging with me, subscribing, listening to me ramble. I hope you like the inside of this because I really tried to do something non-traditional, and we'll cross our fingers that it works. As we go across here, we will see the dining area and the dance area, and this is where we're going to end the episode. And until next time, remember, keep simming, be happy, and always have a blessed day. Bye-bye.